Hi, everyone, friends, neighbors, family members. It's me, Nicole, and I'm coming to you live via my computer camera app that I just purchased. It's supposed to have a special light to make me look good. I don't think that's working, but I'm coming to you live from my house. I am in my bedroom, and do not get excited. It is not for any kind of a great reason. It's actually a pitiful reason because Joe, my sweet, great producer, and I were supposed to record today in his studio. And that was going to be before the dermatological procedure that I had to have done today. So Joe has the flu. I, of course, was out last night and did not get the text until this morning. So I didn't know that. So he and I cannot see one another, and he feels like garbage. So he cannot even talk me through this. So this is an episode that I am basically producing on my own. And I'm just going to go ahead and say right now, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm producing it on my own. I'm sorry that I am in my bedroom with my hair not washed. And I'm sorry that I also do not have the opportunity to put on any makeup because of said dermatological procedure. I'm also doing this later in the day, so I'm kind of tired, but that's because my face and my mouth was numb, not because I was getting fillers or any plastic surgery or anything, but they've used the lidocaine and I always go like that. And then my lips got really, really numb from the numbing cream. So I always forget that. I either get it in my eyes and my lips or my lips. So anyway, the numbing cream is done or it's almost done and I'm able to start talking again. So now coming to you live 4:30 on a Wednesday. It's December 14th. So we are almost halfway through the month of December. And since we're keeping it real right now, I'm just going to let you know a few things. I'm not in the best mood, and that's on me. So I apologize for that, but I'm going to try and entertain you and start smiling more. I'm also really trying hard not to look at myself in the video and just look at the green light, but I've never done this before, so it's a little distracting. I'm distracting myself. I did find when I was trying to look for the camera on my computer, there may be one and I don't know how to open it, but I did find something that I must have written down because I thought it was so funny. So I'm going to share that with you right now. Engineers recently built a device to recreate and study bodily sounds. It's called the Synthetic Human Acoustic Reproduction Testing Machine, or SHART for short. Just let that one sit in. Okay. I thought that was hilarious, and I'm really trying hard not to laugh. And I'm going to come back from the camera because that's actually very distracting. I don't even have my contacts in right now, so I can't really see that well. So as I lean back, I think it's better. I think it's better for all of us. Okay. So it's episode 24. We have 2 more episodes after this one before we go into 2023. I have mentioned this has not been a great week. I am actually, just truthfully, not a big fan of Christmas in general and the holiday. I find it to be extremely overwhelming and I am able to spin myself into a bunch big time. That being said, I love the opportunity to spend time with friends and family at any point in time. I did last night go to one of my most favorite parties that I go to. And I was off the invite list for several years and I was devastated by that. But supposedly, there was no reason for me to be not on the list, just out of sight, out of mind, which is sad. But then also I got back on. So I think I'm in again. And this might be I'm only going to be able to describe to you what I can describe because there are lots of types of ears listening. So someone did suggest me doing a Patreon because some of the content we just cannot discuss with normal people. We only can discuss it with the people who really appreciate offensive, raunchy, disgusting humor like these girls can deliver. So that being said, I will discuss a little bit of it, but I want to get a few things figured out first. Number 1, big old shout out to my Fox Chapel friends. I love this neighborhood. We do not live in this neighborhood. We almost lived in that neighborhood, but I love how supportive your community is. And thank you so much for listening to the pod and giving me some good old props. And Fatty absolutely felt like the biggest celebrity when you guys saw her. So thank you so much. Second shout out is to a locally owned store. This is not a promo. It's not an ad. I'm not getting paid to do it. But because I have said that I do not like to shop. So I usually go shopping 2 times a year for myself, like out in the world. And it's usually one time is usually in December because I find that I don't have anything nice to wear. And I might have a function to go to where I'm like, oh crap, I don't have anything nice to wear. So I always go to this one store because Richmond has really, really horrible shopping. And the store is called Quinn and it's owned by a girl named Lynn, which I know that's cute. And anyway, I rushed in there on Friday and I was able to find 2 dresses for myself. And that was really exciting because I don't have the kind of like figure that is like off the rack ready. Like I'm not tall-ish. I have no boobs. I've got a large badonk. So anyway, it was great. And thank you so much. So yay for Quinn, the store. And then the final shout out is the contest, if you saw it, was for my other go-to store, Anthropologie. Again, that's just a free shout out for them. But I love that turtleneck, cowl neck, loose fitting baggy sweater. This is not it. This is a different one. But someone did go ahead and do the tag and forward and do what they needed to do to get entered into the giveaway. And someone who lives, I believe, outside of Roanoke, Virginia, won. And so I haven't been able to touch base with her. So I don't want to shout out her name just because she might be a super private person and that would suck. But anyway, congratulations. And thank you so much for participating. And DM me with the size and the color and how I can get it to you. The quote for the week. I got my notebook right here. This is taken from my coffee mug that my brother-in-law gave to me last year because he loves a good, funny gift and he knows I love coffee. Now, the only neg on this coffee mug is that it's really small, so I need a bigger one, but I'm going to show you the visual as well. I'm trying to be awesome today, but I'm exhausted from being awesome yesterday. So that is the quote for the week. Because every day I am trying to crush it and every day I am just getting crushed. And that's okay. That's okay. I am a big girl. I can handle it. But I'm just telling you right now, I don't think I'm going to look much better as this week goes on. But try to be awesome. If you're exhausted from being so awesome yesterday, I get it. I totally get it. You are awesome. Updates. I thank you for all of the people who reached out with their coffee machine recommendations. I have a few that I'm kicking around. I'm going to maybe do a little trial and we'll see what happens with that because I know that was a mess. That was a mess. Fatty was really disappointed in me. 2, the universe may or may not be against Nicole and Nicole's hockey tour in the year of 2022. It almost feels like it's putting up roadblocks left and right to make it so I'm not able to experience the hockey games that I so badly am trying to go to. So more on that later. Number 3, the friend who introduced us all to Fellatio, the linguistic service, she has now been tapped to be like head fellatio person at the school, which I find to be hilarious. Way to go. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm actually videoing, and then when I feel a pause coming, I stop it. And then based on this app, I think I have to like email it or text it over to Joe. So this is super complex, just so you know. So, and this is all for you because I love you and you mean a lot to me. And I appreciate you watching and listening and subscribing and following all of the socials and the platforms. The FR Pod. That's the handle if you needed the small version of that. And if you do that, especially for TikTok and Instagram, you'll get to see extra content, like the fact that we have a giant Yeti in our yard right now because you send someone to the store to get tree lights and they come home with a ginormous Yeti that's blowed up and scares the shit out of our dog daily. But that's neither here nor there. It's just fun and festive, right? So I will say my dad today and I were chatting And he had forgotten to tell me something that I thought was great. And so I forgot one more shout out, and it is to a person named Stephanie who works at St. Francis Hospital. My dad and my stepmom were there and they were checking out. And when he said his last name, someone named Stephanie said, "Oh my gosh, is your daughter Nicole?" And he said, "Yes." And she said, "I listened to her podcast and I love it." And I just wanted to say, oh my gosh, that was so nice of you. Number one. Number two, my dad felt like super, super awesome. And I'm sure he followed up with some kind of like, "I taught her everything she knows" kind of a comment, because he is a true dad. But just wanted to say thanks for that. So appreciate it. Oh, in the news. Okay. I have really been very preoccupied, so I'm not super up on everything. I'm not even going to talk about the twats a lot. I'm not going to talk about SBF. I'm not going to talk about the inflation rate hike. What I am going to talk about is this chat GBT, which is the artificial intelligence. Basically, you can ask this anything and it will spit out an answer that essentially sounds like a normal human being that possibly has like a feeling or two generated the response. So of course, my first thought is, well, great. Now everyone's just going to use that to do their schoolwork. How are we going to know who knows what or who's just, plagiarizing? Apparently they are going to be working on a watermark of sorts, which I don't know what this looks like, because again, I have a really hard time like imagining anything like the cloud or like what people refer to as a metaverse and stuff. I think it's make believe. But if there's a way for people to not use this to cheat, that would be awesome. So I gotta tell you, that really scares the shit out of me, because then I feel like we're one step closer to like robots being parents. And I just think that is really bizarre. I don't know. Maybe I'm the outcast here. Maybe I'm on the dumb track. I am going to talk about Ticketmaster one more time, because I read a very, very riveting article about the rise of Ticketmaster and how they took over Ticketron, which was the first ticketing company, when they used to like take them on the phone and you'd stand in the line. And I know that probably sounds like crazy to anyone who was born like in 1990 and above. But Ticketmaster, there was this one guy who took over as CEO, and he basically was like, here's what we're going to do. We aren't going to make the venues suck up the fees. We are going to pay the venues to work only with us. And then we're going to slap all the fees and the extra money that we're going to make to pay the venues to only work with us. We're going to put that on the customer. And they just continue to just slap on those fees. And it depends on the price of your ticket. The pricier your ticket, the heftier your fee. You see where we're going. So we have got to come up with a way to patronize not like make them feel stupid, but like we've got to start using alternative methods, because Ticketmaster sucks ass. They suck ass and they're sucking all of our money away, and that's not okay. So think about that. I just also read that Google bought Waze, the app. And as someone who is super directionally challenged, this is extremely upsetting to me, because I use a couple of different apps to get me from point A to point B. I now have to start building in extra time for myself to make at least 2 or 3 wrong turns whenever I'm going somewhere, even if it's a place that I've been before, even if I've gone there several times before. Literally, it's like a mental block. I just can't get to point A to point B without help. And so I usually go in between to see who's got the better instructions and what I'm more familiar with. Well, now that they are owned by the same company, that sucks, because I'm like, I need a little diversity here, because sometimes one guy's talking me the right way, and then the lady over here is like, you are going to take a left at the next left. And then that's what I need. So that sucks. Let's come up with another competitor app for that, for the directionally challenged like myself. Oh, another thing that I was thinking about and reading about is Gen Z and everyone is like super pumped that we're heading back to the office. It's RTO, return to office, and I'm really trying to keep up with all of the abbreviations for things. But this is such a new kind of experience for a lot of them because they have either been in school during COVID or they were unemployed during COVID. So now this might be their first time actually going to an office and experiencing what that is like. And of course, they are like the OG texters and they're so good at it that they don't need punctuation. I mean, they don't need a lot of words when you can just use one word or like an emoji to, communicate exactly what they're thinking. So I read this article about what they think, Gen Zers think, when they receive emails, or God forbid they get an email, or like a text, or using one of those like on site platforms like a Slack or a chat or whatever. Apparently, if you ask someone to do something from Gen Z and you put a period, if you say like, hey, it would be super great if you filed those unwanted papers, period. They now think you are actually mad at them and you may not even like them and you might be unhappy with them. But you are just like, hey, if you do that, that'd be awesome. Kind of a thing like you're, throwing it away. So there's a definite divide here in the communication methods, but then also how literally things are being translated. Fellatio cannot help us with that, but I do think we need to come up with another way other than Urban Dictionary to figure that out because they're going faster than we are and they're getting their feelings hurt and no one's going to be really productive if they're getting their feelings hurt all the time, right? So we got to figure that shit out. Also, if you get a skeleton emoji, that is someone like laughing until they're laughing so hard they would die. They could die. They're laughing so hard. So just so you know that's important as well. Back to the story that my dad was telling me about, like seeing the girl and hearing the girl at the hospital. When he told me that, it actually changed my entire mood and outlook on the day. Because I was like, oh my gosh, that was so nice of that person. So I forgot to say, it is amazing to me sometimes how like one small thing can make a huge difference in like your mood at that moment or how you approach the rest of the day or even the month. So just wanted to sprinkle that little bit of sunshine there for you. Um, there are 3 words. I introduced one last week, the relation short, and I was delighted to get a text from someone that I know who said, I do believe I might be in a relation short. Would love to talk about it. And we did discuss it, and it is a relation short. Not a situationship. It's definitely more of a relation short because that, implies it may or may not be going on longer. But I was super pumped that it's catching on. The second word or double word that I am like questioning is goblin mode. Okay, so I looked it up, and this is what the definition of goblin mode is. Essentially, a new way of saying phoning it in, I think. So you are going to unapologetically do as little or nothing as you possibly can. And you're going to be okay with that. And that is now called like goblin mode, which to me sounds like you might just be lazy, hungover, sick. I don't know. I'm not understanding how we're trying to like spin doctor certain things that are going on to make them sound a little bit better when basically that's just not trying. And you know what? That I don't get that. But again, maybe it's me and the crazy day I'm having. The other one is shadow banning. So I had to look this one up too because I wanted to be clear. It is the blocking of a portion of someone's content or identity on social, but it's done in such a subtle way that like nobody actually knows that it's being done, including the person that it's being done to. That was terrible grammar, by the way, but you get what I'm saying. So free speech is there, but it's really not. And because I think if we're going to get down to the nitty gritty, I'm pretty sure it's like Zuck and Twad that are just controlling everything that people are saying right now. And I don't love that. I got to be honest, not a fan. Not a fan at all. So I also got some good feedback on the worst Christmas songs and the best Christmas songs. I also got some bad feedback on that. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. And at that moment in time, those were my three favorites. Um, the three worst songs, actually, they're not going to move. They're pretty solid in the I cannot stand those songs. I turn them off every time they come on. So I just wanted to wrap up there. I did come up with some ideas though for ways that you can give to others that may not have like a tangible item. Because let's face it, stuff's expensive right now, and I do believe it's the thought that counts. So one thing was the party that I went to last night, which let me just tell you what is the best holiday idea, I think, or anytime idea. It's called the Naughty and Nice Party, or Naughty or Nice Party. Can't remember, but it has grown to now it's like 60 people. And everyone, if you want to get, you have to give. So you bring your wrapped gift. It can be store bought, it can be homemade, it could be a regift, it could be partially used, like anything goes. And this is definitely one of those times where, like, you see if something's wrapped really nicely, people do judge the books by their cover. So, like, they'll open something and it could be literally a lump of coal and like a half-eaten candy bar, but it looked really pretty, so they're getting it. So anyway, most of the people who attend this party are going to go down kind of the naughty tunnel. So the last time I went to this party, I got a bottle of wild turkey and sexual lottery tickets, which I did not use. I know that to be true. The wild turkey, that might have been consumed. But this year, I can't even tell you about my gift that I actually got. I wound up stealing it from someone, and I cannot tell you the gift that I purchased other than I did do like a his and hers, thinking that most of these girls are in marriages or committed relationships with the opposite sex. So I got something for the person in the relationship who has the penis, and then I had got something for the person who doesn't. And so the host's sister actually got my gift, and I was pretty excited about it. And I think, were impressed at the amount of thought that I put into it. Again, this is content that is not for like everyone to consume. So DM me if you want to know more. But I think that's such a great idea for a party. You bring your gift, you bring some booze or a little, plate of cookies, and it's so much fun. And you just laugh and you get to see people that you haven't seen in forever. And it's all ages and all, pretty much everyone has kids because that's kind of how everyone knows one another, but it's not exclusive like that. So love this idea for a party. So I had sent a note to the host saying, hey, why don't I stay back and help you clean up? Because I know hosting during the week can be really, really, tough and annoying. So I did, and I wound up staying until like 12:15. So by the time I got home and got ready for bed and fell asleep, it was really late. And so even though I did not overserve myself last night, I am exhausted. And as you get older, you really need a full 48 of like recovery time because sleep deprivation is definitely the worst. You can see my lips are still a little numb, so I'm having a hard time saying some things. Sorry about that. Second point to the party was when you're trying to control how much you are consuming, I smartened up last night and decided to bring my own wine glass and my own bottle of wine. And I just carried that around all night so that I knew exactly how much I was having to drink at what point in time and when I needed to add more ice. Because, yeah, sometimes I do like my red wine chilled. Okay, sue me. But that worked swimmingly. So, just a fun fact, I think I might try and create like a little wine satchel so that, it's kind of Santa-ish, but to bring to parties because I mean, why not? I thought I was doing everyone a solid with that. Everyone a solid by watching my intake. Two other ways that I thought you could gift someone something without actually buying something for them, again, thought that counts, is you can offer to come over to their house and take down Christmas or whatever holiday decorations they have. You spend some time together, put some fun music on, get a little chore done. That sounds awesome. I've had friends do that for me in the past, and it has been such a huge help. Another one is I saw this at one of my son's soccer player friend's parents' house. And I was like, wow, they're totally going the extra mile. I am not. But it's only because Francis would eat and destroy it before anyone got to enjoy it. But when you walk up to their front door, they have a little tray outside, kind of a basket tray, and a sign that says, "Thank you for all that you do. Please enjoy." And it's got like water bottles and like Gatorades and, like cheese and cracker things and like little snacks and granola bars and stuff. And it's for the delivery drivers or the postal people that are coming to drop stuff off for them, which I thought, that is so nice. Like, why didn't I ever think of that? And then I think about my dog, and then that's why I don't do that. But it's definitely a great idea. And if you don't have a dog that would destroy it, and you felt like doing something nice, I thought that was super cool. So yay for that. All right, so on with the episode. I had all these big grand plans, and obviously they all just fell to shit, per the usual. But I wanted to discuss the gift giving stuff. And, Christmas is hard because it's like you want to get someone what you want them to have, or you want to get someone the gift that they want to have. And so I feel like there are two schools of thought on this. So it's like either like, I really want you to have a new shower curtain, so that's what I'm going to get you, like it or not. And that is fine. Or it's the person that's like, I really want to get you that new basketball, and I don't want anyone else to get it for you, so I'm going to get that for you, and I know you're going to love that, and I'm going to feel good, and you're going to feel good, and there we go. So it started me thinking like how people make those decisions. And I think it goes back to the whole love languages thing, which I don't know if we've discussed this or not, but there's this book like the 5 love languages, right? And basically it boils down to this: physical touch, which PS is pretty much every male that I've ever met. 2, words of affirmation, which is like the attaboy, you are so impressive, you're so badass, you're amazing, that kind of stuff. Quality time is another one where it's like, you know what, you don't care about much, but just the time that you have with this person, you want it to be like undivided. You're the sole reason that they are there, and y'all are just like in sync big time. Acts of service. Acts of service, don't go down the gutter with that one. That one's for physical touch. Acts of service is actually a really interesting one because it could be anything from like walking the dog to like, picking up milk on the way home. And then there's also gifts, like tangible items. So if you think about it and you're like, ooh, how do I show people that I love? And then you classify how you do it. And then you're like, ooh, what means the most to me when someone is like trying to show me that they love me or like me, or I mean a lot to them. And so we have definitely figured out the love languages for my husband and myself. But I thought maybe I should do this for my kids. And that would give us a better idea of like how to give Christmas gifts to them that are meaningful, and also, that they would like. Nobody wanted to participate. So this year, so we're going to probably work on that next year. But if you still have time and need to be buying gifts or making gifts or creating gifts for people, maybe use that, because I personally am not a tangible item as much gift person as I am the quality time. The acts of service is number 1, though. I mean, you unload that dishwasher and you are catapulting yourself to top notch number 1 in my book. You flush the toilet regularly. I will give you a big old hug and kiss and maybe make you some brownies because that's important stuff, you know? You see where I'm going with this. So, just, maybe make that a fun game as you're like picking out what you want to get for Uncle Fred. Does he like the members only jacket that he still wears and maybe could use like some patchwork for it? Or would he rather you say, I'll come over and rake your leaves for, 3 months out of the year? Go figure. Just a thought. So, if you are one of those people like me who kind of struggle in December and around the holidays, I'm not a big fan actually of Christmas time. Like I try really hard to get into the spirit and I play the music and I try and like decorate and really like just make fun jokes and be happy, but it is really a hard time for me. And so to that point, I am giving a shout out and like telling people out there if you are in the same boat as me where you're just kind of like during this time frame, you are not alone, and I am sending you like major love and major good thoughts because it really is a tough time for a lot of people, and I think it's really hard for others to understand that. So I think it's all the more important for us to have some patience and grace with other people because we have no idea what they're going through. And next week, I will have an episode that will be dedicated just to my mom because she is basically the reason that I started this podcast. That being said, I don't want to bring everyone down, but one of the reasons that I have had a tough week is that we have lost a dear friend of my husband's this week. And when I look on my phone, for this particular week, every time we lose someone who's important to us, I write their name in my phone on the date, and then I have a heart next to it. And it recurs every year. And this week is pretty full already of names with hearts on them. So it's kind of weighing on my heart a little bit. So I am sorry that this is not the funniest podcast that you've listened to me and hopefully you're actually speeding it up because again, my mouth is not working that well because of the numbing stuff. So hopefully you're breezing on by that. Not so deep thoughts. So nothing makes me smile quite as much as when I see cars driving down the road and they have like dogs like leaning out the window, just like feeling the wind in their ears and their face, and they're just so happy. They're like, this is amazing. It just makes me smile a lot. So there's that. Two, my husband is really funny, and that is one of that's basically the reason I married him because he makes me laugh a lot. And if you recall last week, we were talking about Limitless and the Chris Hemsworth show, which I could just keep bringing up over and over, and that'd be fine. And so a couple of nights ago, he came home and he had been, I don't know, doing some form of exercise. I'm sure it was like a racket sport or something. And he comes in and he's like, I'm going to shower off and, wash off this Chris Hemsworth body. I'm working on it. And I started laughing and he goes, I just want you to know, I got up this morning and did 20 push-ups. I mean, I'm so close to getting that body. And it just makes me laugh. So the moral of this story is every little bit helps. And maybe someday you too could look like Chris Hemsworth. I can't even say his name because I'm so three. If someone texts you with a question of like, hey, how much did that cost? Hey, where did you get that? Hey, do you remember that time? What was the name of that restaurant? Don't not answer them and think you'll do it later because you won't. Because now as I'm going through some texts, I owe a lot of people some answers on stuff and I feel like a total dick. So the moral of that story is go ahead and get that answer right then and there because then it'll just sit there and the person will be annoyed because they really probably needed that information. One other gift idea. If you are all out of gifts, I would like to say that Slutty Graham just shocked me, surprised me, touched my heart. She made a point to come to my house last weekend and she had special ordered a particular something for me because it just reminded her of me. And remember, I'm not the favorite, but this is what it is. If I could not choke myself with it. I'm not sure if you can see it, but that's what it is. So when you get your own podcast and it's called Fucking Ridiculous, a lot of people are going to start like sending you stuff with the word fuck on it and giving you stuff with the word fuck on it. And I fucking love it. Thanks, Slutty Graham. All right. Next week will be 1,000% better because it cannot be worse than today. So in the meantime, thanks for putting up with me. I love you all. Just be kind to one another. Be kind to yourself. If you need to just shut yourself in your room and just watch Christmas movies, do it. All right.